Welcome to the Indie Corner. We're talking about all things independent comics, specifically the deadliest high school comic book in the 80s, Rick Remender's Deadly Class. I'm Mikey.
I'm Rebecca.
I'm Demoan.
And today, people, we are back at it again with another episode of Deadly Class, people. And today, people, we're going to be talking about Volume 6, titled This Is Not the End. And that's going to cover issues 27 to 31. And people, I'm excited because for people that don't know, I always mention this is one of my favorite books, like second favorite book of all time. But like, I don't know what happens after this point, like, because I like to read the book in print. So like, and I stopped buying volumes around this volume. So so after we go on the break a little bit, that's gonna be more fresh eyes for me. But I'm very excited because this is the halfway point. This is pretty much the halfway point of the series, and it ends on a banger in my opinion. But yeah, Rebecca, thank you.
Yeah, it does.
And thank you for joining me as always. It's gonna be a good time. And so I didn't realize I remember I'm reading the first two, right? I think that's what we planned. Okay, just making sure.
Yes.
All right. So we are.
And then I'm doing 29 and 30.
And then Rebecca's doing the last one. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I completely forgot about that part. We talked about it earlier, but I just had to be sure. We'll just get right into it, people. So to start off, we're going to be talking about issue number 27. And obviously, people aren't aware this is going to be more of a Syfy focus issue, and I love this cover. Again, Wes Craig. I mean, Demoan. I mean, when we did Invincible, we always said that, like, you know, Ali was pretty much one of the kings of covers. I think Wes Craig might top this man in terms of cover skill. Like,
I'm not ready to say that yet. I think it's a very close race. He has beautiful covers, though. I'll never take that from him.
Yeah, like the neon and like how that morphs into like older Syfy juxtaposed with younger Syfy in the front. I love that a lot.
He's very good at using colors, like in his covers.
Yes,
for sure. But so issue 27, great cover. So we're just gonna start it off real quick. So it starts off in November 2nd, 1988. So right where we left off from the last volume, which people don't remember. Syfy kind of got ambushed by the Kuroki syndicate. Well, the Kurokis, I'll say. Her Yakuza clan, her brother sent them after her, and it was revealed that Quan, who is part of the new Deadly Class, is a narc and a double agent, and was actually hired to keep tabs on Syfy and try to bring her back to her brother Kenji. So that was the reveal. And last time we saw her, that was a big one. So yeah. So it starts off with Tokyo, in Tokyo, and Syfy pretty much wakes up, from like in her old room, and being comforted by her mother, and her mom, and she's basically delirious. She has an IV hooked up to her. She doesn't really know what's going on. She's bandaged up because she got freaking stabbed in the chest, in the stomach by Quan, and obviously, like, her mom's being like, "Listen, like, you're not in the right condition right now. Like, don't worry. Like, you're home." And she's like, "If you live long enough, Syfy, one truth becomes very clear. Like, most things happen for no reason." And then this is where she gets into more of we're finally seeing Syfy's backstory after Willie died and dated this girl and learned nothing. So the fact that we're getting
so excited for this backstory.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be some good stuff. So it starts off. They don't really say when this happened. I think it is. I'll think that'll be a couple years. I think she's probably like in her early teens.
Yeah, I think they said she's like 14 or 15 at some point in this.
Okay. Yeah, so it transitions to young Syfy interrupting a meeting between her father and this guy named Mr. Ito. Obviously, her dad is a leader of the Kuroki, and Mr. Ito is a leader of another Yakuza family, and they're just basically just talking to each other, talking business. And while Saya interrupts, we kind of get this really cool like explanation from her father about how he perceives who the Yakuza are as an organization, and it pretty much tells her like, listen, we're straight up gangsters. Don't get us wrong. Like, we're still criminals, but the way he sees the Yakuza is more through an honorable lens, which is kind of, he takes sense, like, kind of inspired by samurai, where even though we're criminals, we're gangsters, but we like to protect our neighborhoods, protect the people around us, to basically keep control, have the people take control more so than the government taking control, which is actually kind of what the samurais did, back during like the Edo period and all that stuff. But I think it's really cool. And Saya is very adamant about, hey, like, she wants to be a part of this organization, be part of the Kuroki, to get Kuroki to make her dad proud, because her dad is a big role model in her life. But her dad literally is talking about, hey, listen, like, no, like, he wants nothing. He wants Saya to have nothing to do a part of it, just because he sacrificed a lot in his life to make sure that she didn't have to make the sacrifice that he made. But however, and also the fact that women aren't really like Kuroki members. Like, they have other purposes that basically serve like lower purposes that they can serve in the organization, but they're not like high ranking members like her father, as well as like her brother Kenji.
I think they were saying that was like pervasive of the whole Yakuza, not just the Kuroki.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like, women aren't really in higher positions of power. And while they're getting this she's getting this spiel from her dad, we get interrupted by Kenji, and like young Kenji,
this
at
fucking
least.
Guy.
And yeah, that's the thing with Kenji, aka this fucking guy. And Kenji basically talks about like how basically he has the exact opposite idea of what the Yakuza can be, about what the Kuroki can be. And he basically is like, hey dad, listen, like, I know we're doing we have very different outlets, like the prostitution ring that we have, the gambling ring that we have, but like, that's old fashioned. That's only gonna last us so long. It's obviously not. It's barely gonna keep us afloat. So I propose, let's get into the drug game a little bit. Like, let's get our people hooked on some stuff that can make us a ton of money, because all the other various Yakuza outlets are pursuing the drug trade, and they're making a profit. But his dad is just like, no, like, we're not gonna be destroying our own people just for financial gain. That's not honorable. That's not right. So basically, like, he's just saying like, nah, we're gonna scratch that and just stick to what we're good at, and probably other alternatives. But Saya, on the other hand, has other alternatives in mind that could potentially work into the Kuroki's favor, other than what Kenji proposes with dealing drugs.
I think more humane. It seemed like more humane avenues of revenue.
Exactly. But yeah, so after that, it transitions to Saya walking. Kenji walks outside, and also while I gotta say this because I thought it was savage, but Mr. Kuroki pretty much when he basically like sends Kenji out the door and being like, "Fuck you, I'm not dealing with your proposal." He basically says he's like, shame your sister had any opportunity, Kenji, but I'll tell you this, Saya's more than a son, more of the son that I've always wanted. And I was like, damn, like, I think it's so funny that like, yeah, Kenji's the
principal, like a threefold insult in Japan.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's pretty much like he's the shameful, like, disgraced child, pretty much, amongst his father's eyes. I think it's very interesting. But yeah, once after that, Saya pretty much chases after Kenji, and is just like, hey, listen, like, I got ideas like that can basically pretty much like help the Kuroki, instead of like, because we can do better than doing the drug game. And Kenji's pretty much like, shut the hell up, like, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're just a little girl. What do you know about running an organization or running a business? Like, I'm gonna be the one taking up father's reign someday, not you. All you're good for is opening up your legs to someone like all the other whores we have out here. And I was like, damn. So
his own sister.
crazy thing to say to your sister.
Right?
Honestly, it's just like what? Like so, yeah. Kenji's pretty much they're pretty much establishing their relationship that Kenji's pretty much an asshole to his sister, even though and Saya's like opposite where she actually like cares about her brother like a normal sibling. So yeah, that's interesting. So it transitions to Kenji going to a local club where he reconvenes with all these various Yakuza kids, and pretty much he's like, yo, let's order some bottles, have a good time. But then they pretty much call Kenji out and be like, yo, like, aren't you broke, my dude? Like, you're the one like, pretty much, right? Like you're pretty much broke, my guy. Like,
they really came for him.
Yeah, they're pretty much.
I mean, he deserves it, but
yeah, he does. And pretty much like, yo, y'all think you can step to us? Like, what are you talking about, dude? We literally like, it's like how much, like, you know how much money you owe us? Like, fuck that. Like, nah, listen, like, and plus, like you ain't shit. You're never gonna be shit. Like, let's just keep it moving. And they're pretty much shaming Kenji, like pretty much any chance he gets. And again, it's kind of, and you kind of like feel for him, but then you're reminded that he's an asshole. So like, you kind of don't. BBC Live said, hey, well, what's going on? Like, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Yeah, and then next thing you know, while he pretty much gets, a roasting, Saya comes out of nowhere and is like, and sneaks into this club, even though she's a kid, she's not allowed to be in there. And then pretty much this bodyguard, both the bouncer's trying to like, tell her to leave, and she takes out a wad of cash and is like, hey, yo, like, this is the part where you like, I pay you, you should look the other way and get your girl, have your waitress give me something to drink. And Kenny's like, yo, where the hell did you get this money from? And she's like, yo, I'm literally operating a gambling ring in my at the school, the private school that daddy sends me to get a good education. Yeah, fuck that. I'm running a gambling ring in this bitch. And it's like, yo, and all the Yakuza kids are like, yo, your 14-year-old sister is a fucking badass, and she's a lot cooler than you. We're gonna hang out with her. And basically she talks about her ideas to them. She pitches stuff to them, like, yo, we want, and they're thinking about, yo, like, this girl's smart, this girl's cunning, she's brave, and this we want to work. We kind of want to work with you. Even though Kenny's like, yo, what are you doing? Dad's not gonna go for that. She's like, listen, man, I wanna stake my claim just as much as you. Fuck it, let's do it. And they start hanging, and then basically they ring her in, and it's revealed that's later on in that night. That's where Saya gets her Tabori Yakuza tattoos, and it's even,
I think they call it her suit, right?
Yeah, they pretty much like, yeah, like, got fitted for a new suit. And then she gets her Tabori tattoos done, and then pretty much is like, yo, like, and she's not even flinching. She's so fucking cool. Like, she like, and then basically like, this is when we get a pivotal moment where one of them is like, yo, like, if he says this real quick, he's like, yo, if my old man if my old man was dead, I'd probably be in charge and probably make Saya my like a partner. And behind this was the image of Kenji being like, getting a little steamy there, and it's like, ooh, it's like, big love, keep going. It's like, thank you so much, we appreciate that. Oh man, that means a lot. So yeah, so then it transitions again to that following night. Saya returns home, sneaks back inside her house, and is seeing a trail of blood by her doorstep. Walks toward the trail, and she picks up her father's katana, and when she turns around to see where the blood trail is coming from, when she picks it up, it's revealed to see Mr. Ito's dead body, and then immediately Kenji walks out, being like, "Oh my God! Look at what Saya did! She killed Mr. Ito. You just brought us. You just started a war between our families. Oh my God! Like, you fucking disgrace child!" And it's just like, bro. I don't know what y'all thought about this, but I kind of laughed. I was like, "Come on, now, like,
it's so fake."
It's so fake, and like,
yeah. and in this, and you're gonna say this in a second. Like, the dad knows she didn't do it. Like, everyone kind of knows she didn't do it, and they still like do all that shit anyway. It's like, but why?
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna open an investigation? I don't know what's happening here.
Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get into it, but yeah, so Saya. Kenji points fingers at Saya and being like, yo, you kind of fucked it up for both of our families, and she runs out immediately. There's a meeting conducted sometime after that where you have Ito's son, who was one of the Yakuza kids that was hyping up Saya a little bit ago. It's basically been like, yo, so it's having so it's a meeting with the two families, like, yo, so my father's dead, and obviously because we're Yakuza and like we're very traditional and straightforward, very traditional and non-progressive, we're not going to look into an autopsy here. We're gonna be like, we know your daughter, your daughter was caught with the murder weapon. We know she did it, so we're owed in blood. Like that's how this thing works. Primitive bullshit. Basically Saya comes out of nowhere and is like, yo, listen, like, you know, don't let my father have nothing to do with this. Like, it's my responsibility. It's my responsibility to bear, even though I know I didn't do it, but I'm gonna have this little sacrifice to figure out who actually did. And Saya cuts, I believe, her pinky and her
ring finger
cut off. She cuts them off with a
on her. I think it might be her right hand. Yeah,
which is revealed to be like why Saya has those fingers cut off, and which Willie pointed out in previous volumes. And Ito's son is like, yo, listen, like, I respect the bravery here, but like that's not gonna cut it. Like it's a life for a life. That's how it's gonna be. And then her father's like, listen, like, you shouldn't have done that. Like, there's no need. And it's like, listen, it's like, and she's going, and they have this heart-to-heart moment where her father's like, listen, like, she's like, Dad, I didn't do it. And she's like, listen, like, he's like, I know, but one of my children did, which reveals Rebecca said he knows that Kenji killed Mr. Ito. Some shit to blame it on Saya because of jealousy. And and they have a heart-to-heart moment. He kisses her on the forehead, and tells Kenji to drag her ass out of there, which he does. And Saya is begging her dad not to do what she thinks he's going to do. And Mr. Kuroki takes the sword and pretty much commits an act of seppuku, taking his own life. And it's wild. And he just dies. He bleeds out, dies right there. And then what's even crazier is that Ito's son pulls the sword out of his body, gives it to Kenji, and is like, okay, now you're running the Kuroki now, even though you have much to atone for. Saya loses her shit, grabs her dad's sword from Ito's son's hand, and then starts murking everybody, and starts murking everyone. And Kenji tries to stop her, and in the process, she slashes Kenji's throat, and he starts gargling, and starts gargling like, you could have killed me. He's like, yeah, like, don't worry, brother. Next time I see you, I will. And she runs away, and then that's pretty much how that flashback ends. It transitions to, again, Saya's waking Saya back with her mom on her bedside. Saya's getting even more and more delirious now, and this is pretty much and it pretty much revealed their mom's talking. It's pretty much revealing that, yeah, like you imagine there's only one way to earn respect from both of your families, which was to return to King's Dominion, which was your father's alma mater, graduate, and then you end up with some rep and end up with a huge rep and thwart Kenji. That's not how it's gonna work. And it's like, no one's gonna follow a disgraced daughter from a disgraced leader. That's not, like, it's more to it than that. And it's like, and then she's like, you know, by running away to Kings, you not only disrespected for our family, but you disrespected Kenji. And it's like what your plan wasn't gonna matter. And basically, she's like, listen, like, what is like, you're never gonna compete with the hospital that was simply removed from your life. And he's like, for many years, like, I wanted, like, as her mother, I wanted to kill myself, because I couldn't live without your father. And then he's like, and Saya realizes, listen, like, her mom's putting something in her IV. He's like, no, what's in this? And he's like, oh, he's like, but now I have you back. And, you know, I realized my home was with you, Saya. And it's like, perhaps we can be a family once again. And Saya's slowly losing consciousness. And like, but first you must atone for killing my husband, and you will not like it. And Saya pretty much passes out. And that's how issue 27 ends. Last one, issue 27. It's revealed her mom's
never
crazy.
Liked this mom. Her mom's wild. Her mom's insane.
I obviously I haven't read this. I feel like we're just gonna get another chapter of a woman being tortured like Maria was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of make it seem that way, huh?
They put a lot of people through the ringer that don't deserve it in this book,
Yeah, they do.
and not enough people that do deserve it.
That's true. That's true.
Ugh.
But yeah, I thought this issue was great. Again, like, because finally, like, after getting to know Saya for this period of time, I know how much little we know because she's a mysterious punk rocker Yakuza chick, which I think is great. The fact that we finally, I think we're getting a pretty good payoff to like understanding why Saya is the way he is, through her relationship with her father, through her relationship with Kenji, and how everything kind of spiraled out of control due to Kenji's jealousy of Saya because Saya was the better child, in her father's eyes. And yeah, I thought it was a great.
The son he never had.
Yeah, and it's kind of wild because like in very traditional, just like Asian culture, like Japanese, Chinese, it's always the sons that are more revered. So the fact then daughters. So the fact that like Remender kind of played it in a way to where like Saya being the daughter is the more respected from her father than, and the son's the exact opposite. I think it's very interesting contrast, and it actually shakes up things up a bit.
I like that they immediately paint Kenji as a loser.
They do. It's great.
Where, like, Saya just immediately like impresses like all his like Yakuza buddies and like she's getting bitches, all that kind of shit.
She really walked in there and just slapped Cash down, embarrassing him. It was amazing.
Really risked up a waitress, and it's like, what? Like this girl, like is unstoppable. I can see why her father loves her more. and it's great, and but it also kind of like I kind of contrast Kenji with the similarities between like Kenji and Shabnam. Like they're both losers, but and due to like what they've been through and like how they go about things, they end up becoming fucking straight up monsters. And just like, and I think it's very interesting, like connecting those. I found a connection between both those characters.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that before, but that is really interesting now that you say it, especially because in the next couple like chapters they talk about how like nerds getting power is like a horrible thing.
I said that last episode. I was like, bruh, like never. Well, the moment you give a nerd power, it's kind of over. Like especially if this nerd was bullied throughout like most of high school or whatever, Yeah, it's this Revenge of the Nerds is real, guys, and I think if we ever get Remender on, because we're gonna get you on at some point, Remender, I'm gonna ask if Revenge of the Nerds is one of his inspirations because I get huge Revenge of the Nerds vibes from how he writes Shabnam, and also with Kenji. So yeah, Demoan, you have anything else you want to say?
Not really. I just really like Saya stuff. I thought all like the background dealings of the Yakuza and how they were operating were really fun to look at, and there's something about this mom that I don't like. But I can't decide what it is.
Yeah, true. The fact that like she blames her husband's death on her daughter when it was clearly Kenji. Clearly Kenji. And
I feel like everyone in the room knew, but no one wanted to say it.
I honestly
I don't get why they want to work with Kenji. Like everyone fucking hates him.
Yeah.
And they talk about like how I think it's this one, like you just said, Saya's like an obstacle he can't like remove because he made him look weak.
Yeah, but she's become like a myth.
I don't understand like why they still want to work with Kenji. I guess because he's like the only one left, but it's kind of dumb.
Yeah. It doesn't seem smart on their part.
You know what could have proved Saya's innocence? An autopsy. Literally, they could have just done an autopsy. They could have. They probably had witnesses from the night that she was with the Yakuza. She had an alibi, and the time of death would have, placed like Kenji around that time, and like be like, yo, like it's an easy way to prove this, but because you want to do dumb primitive Yakuza shit. Like,
also, I immediately assumed a 15-year-old girl took out a full-grown Yakuza boss.
Yep, true. What? But
she has no training whatsoever yet.
Yeah.
She's just smart.
Exactly. It's kind of.
I'm sorry, not just smart. Yes, you get it though.
Yeah. But yeah, I got nothing else to say. I thought this issue was really good. So yeah, it's one of my favorite issues in this volume. But yeah, I guess we'll go right into the next issue. So issue number 28. And yeah, I love this cover a lot. I mean, it's the thumbnail for the video, but I completely forgot because I haven't looked at this image for so long that there was a skull on the shoreline of.
I think this one is probably my favorite cover in this volume. I won't lie.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it's dope. I mean, it's again, Wes Craig is good at just having simple being more effective. I think it's very interesting because it's a very simple cover.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it transitions to, and I'm gonna try to say this, Puerto Peñasco, Mexico, on November 3rd, so the day after we.
Oh, could I actually bring up one more thing before you start? So something, because I have the actual hard, like the paperback. When I look through the variant covers in the back, I noticed there's a Spawn variant, which I think is great.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. Is there
a reason? Well,
because it was
Image, right?
I think it was like the 20th anniversary of Image at the time. I think
so.
Because I remember they were dropping like mad, not just either it was the 20th anniversary of Image or it was an anniversary for Spawn. Because I remember like at that time, like every Image book was dropping variant Spawn covers. Like God Country had a cover. Demoan, if you remember that God Country Spawn cover.
I think East of West might have got one too.
East of West probably got one. Yeah. I'll probably show up that cover again when we finish. But like, yeah, just thanks for highlighting that. But yeah, so it starts off in Puerto Peñasco, Mexico, and we reconvene pretty much with Marcus and Maria. And Marcus is basically talking to himself, talking about how talking about how his dad always talked about this place, how beautiful it was. And he pretty much says he can see when he sees people surfing, and kind of see his dad surfing across the waves, as a little homage to that. And also like he also says that he's some like the idea of happiness. He was like, and how that he thinks he found happiness. He's cementing with him, and we get a little voice in being like, "Yo, like that's sort of gay, ain't it?" And then it cuts to surprise. He's talking to Willie, and you're like, "Yo, Willie's back, baby. He wasn't dead." And it's like,
boy.
Yeah, I don't know how he survived, but okay.
I don't know how he survived, but all right. And basically, they're kind of reconvening with the conversation they had last time that they talked. Talking about music at Lex's party, and basically like talking about how what he's listening to is Brave and Honest, and listen, man, I tried to get you on hip hop, bro. And you still listen to this shit, it makes no sense to me. And he's talking about how they miss each other. He's like, yeah, I missed you too. And and they still have a music conversation, just catching up, being casual. And then talking about how how everything went according to plan. And then he's like, listen, man, you put that, and he's talking about how he had a plan actually. He's like, what? It's to go after Master Lin and to take revenge on everyone at King's and to get Billy out of there because Marcus thinks that Billy's still alive, and he's just like, nah, listen, man, and he's like you probably it's revenge. You probably do it for me. He's like, yo, don't put this shit on me. He's like y'all not going back. Y'all just y'all take advantage to leave and never look back. And he's like, and take lesson from me. Violence doesn't solve anything. And he's like, stick to your promise, Marcus. Stick to what side I told you. Don't ever come back. And just try to act fucking normal. And then Marcus cuts away and is like, yo, what the fuck is normal? And then it's revealed that, yeah, he's talking to himself. Willie's dead. He's not actually alive. And you're just like,
that was really upsetting to me. I'm not gonna lie. I was really hoping for my boy.
Yeah, I was pissed because when I first read this, I would actually remember paste it. I was like, oh wow, I actually thought that Willie was alive, and I was like, nah, he's just talking to himself, and it cuts to it's like, and Maria's like, oh no, not you talking to yourself again, yeah, and reveal, yeah, it's just Marcus and Maria, and it's like, god damn it, come on.
Yeah, I was reading this at work, so I missed that line, and I was like, a couple issues later, I'm like, wait, is Willie alive? Because he's not in any of these other issues.
Wow. So it like got you.
I was
Wow.
like, no, I figured Marcus was hallucinating, but I didn't get the line that they like actually established that.
Yeah, word. But yeah, it's just it hits. So pretty much. So then this is the segment where Marcus tries to complain about how even though he's clearly even though they're clearly in paradise and that they're finally away from things, they're happy. He's like, but I'm not happy though. I want to be sad boy again, like Rebecca wants. So it's just like
he really is on his sad boy shit a lot.
Yeah, and then Maria basically tackles him and is like, dude, shut up. We're away from kings. We're in paradise. You're with me, for God's sake. I'm like the hottest Latino you've ever met in your life. Like, let's just be happy together. And like, she tackles him, and they share a kiss, and Marcus literally admits that yeah, she's right. Like, things are good, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of a sweet moment. And like, again, we've talked about Maria and Marcus' relationship in previous volumes. There's gonna be a dedicated clip talking about that. But like here, when during this issue, I'm like, this is kind of cute. It's kind of sweet. I'm just like, huh? Like, are they growing on me a little bit? Like, that's just me. But anyway, transitions again to Kenji. Back in Tokyo, Kenji's is like watching Sai by her bedside. She's still unconscious. And he's basically on the phone with somebody, and it refers to them as the half-breed, which is revealed to be Quan. And
fucking Quan.
And fucking Quan, man, the rat, the snake, and he's pretty much talking about how, like, listen, man, like, like, he's like, I delivered Saya to you, now, like, we're, and he's like, now, like, yeah, we're good, right? He's like, nah, man, like, that's not it, man. I need to get Saya. It has to be more than just her being kidnapped. I need to discredit her at that damn school, ruin her reputation, basically piss off Master Lin, so that she's discredited, so that her honor is like destroyed. And then he's like, listen, man, like, not stop with that samurai bullshit. Like, there's no need for that. He's like, listen, man, like, he's like, figure out something or else there's no deal. And then it's kind of, I think we get the review. About, I don't think we get the reveal. Because I was about to go ahead of myself there for a second. And it's like, yo, like, so basically it's like, listen, man, like, these are the new terms, like, like, just find a way to discredit Saya, and and then because like, and because I don't want to be telling the people that I do business with because about what you did, because especially because the fact that, like, I don't like leaving loose ends unturned, so just be aware of that, because for people I do business with. And then he shuts the phone, and then basically he goes to Quan, and Quan gets and then Helmet shows up to talk to Quan, be like, yo, we gotta talk. So it's him, so basically it cuts to him, Tashawi, and Helmet outside of in the graveyard, and literally they're just talking about, like, it's like, what the fuck's happening? Like, like, what the fuck did you do with Sai? Because Tashawi here said that you left Saya for dead. Like, you were the last one to see her alive on that roof. And basically, like, Quan basically talking about, yo, like, literally, like, we literally got ambushed by the Yakuza, by those Yakuza guys. Like, I tried to save her, but there's nothing else I could do. They threw her fucking body off a goddamn roof. And then he's like, I barely got out. And then he's like, and then it's like, how did Sai know we were in Japantown? Because last issue, Sai basically, like, caught up to them when they were out during Halloween, and then Tashawi admitted, yeah, no, I told her where I was while y'all were going because I was pissed y'all just left me behind. And basically, and then Helmet takes Tashawi, puts him against the wall, like, yo, who else did you tell? So I didn't tell anybody, like, I swear. And he's like, who the fuck were those people? And he's just interrogate him, and Tashawi literally knows nothing. Then they hear something over the loudspeaker, and it's Master Lin, and basically, like, Master Lin's calling for Helmet, Quan, and Tashawi to show up to his office immediately. They show up, and it's just straight silence. It's Lin being Master Lin and being like, the mysterious, like, killer man, and being like, and just being like, yo, I'm gonna say this once, and I'm gonna say this once.
10 minutes of silence is still insane, though.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he like Quan's like, yo, you've been standing there for 10 minutes. Like, you gotta at least say something. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna say this once. where is Saya? And then he looks at he looks directly at Tashawi, and he's like, I have no idea. Like Saya, like she hasn't been she hasn't. He's trying to come up with an excuse. Like I'll give you one chance. And he's like, I don't know. And basically it is an awkward. There's just a pause. He's just like, yes, fine, you're dismissed. And he just lets them go. So he literally had 10 minutes of silence, asked one question, had one answer, and then just let him go. So pretty much.
Also asked only one question to one of them.
Yeah, not even all of them.
I mean, to be fair, none of them actually know.
Yeah,
it's true. That's fair.
And Master Lin knows that.
Does, but...
Yeah, well, yeah, true. And Master Lin knows that. He's just like, yeah, he's right. He doesn't know anything. So they just set him off. They sent him on the merry way. So it transitions to the student council. So Shabnam, Grogda, Victor, Brandy.
Shabnam looks so stupid in his little scarf.
Yeah, he does. And who else? And Steven, the gay one. Is that his name? Steven? I forget. I think it is.
Yeah.
You could just
if we forget, we could just call him the gay one.
It's the gay one. Yeah. So they're all walking down the hallways. And and thing is like, and they also run into Paulie, which is hilarious. And while they're walking down, like no one is really taking them seriously. There's one Sotovato guy, I'm forgetting his name, but he pretty much is calling them out, being like, guys, like y'all ain't shit, like it's like pretty much like y'all ain't shit. Shabnam's ain't shit. We all know that like Grogger's actually running things. And
that's true.
And Brandy, which is true. And Brandy literally is calling him up and like, yo, shut the hell up, you don't know what you're talking about. And then it's like, and then literally Shabnam's like, yo, I'll fuck you up. I was like, bro, please, you literally let everyone kill all these rats, and you just took the credit. I don't want to hear this shit. And Vicky's just like,
bro's like, you're gonna say mean words behind our back.
Like,
oh no,
please. Oh no, we're so scared. So basically, like Shabnam's losing his grip on power and he hates it. So it basically transitions to them at the gun range. Pretty much basically like talking about what the status quo of things, what everyone thinks of them. And while this is happening, it's literally just Grogder at the fire, like shooting guns, talking about the whole thing, and then Shabnam just complaining about an X-Men comic. I think it's hilarious. And Steven is literally just like, I'm sorry, the gay one is just talking about how like he's just like, bro, like, why are you focusing on this corporate bullshit? There are more important things to focus on, like keeping your state of power. And literally like, Shabnam gets so mad at him just for the fact that he's just questioning his authority, and is like, yo, he grabs the gun and literally points it at Steven, and it's just like, yo, like, you want to step up to me? You think you're better than me? And just goes on like this anxious like power trip. And literally is about to point a gun at him. And I love how Westbrook draws it, where like you see it's the same panel with Steven like on the bottom 3 times, but in the middle it's him in black. It's just a white outline of him, and just Shabnam like it's Shabnam pointing like juxtaposed Shabnam like at the barrel of the gun that Shabnam pointing at him directly towards him, and Shabnam's just crazy ass eyes. I think it's so good. And then Victor just swats the gun away and is like, yo, stop, like stop it, like. It's like like this, and then it's like hitting like. Then it's gonna be a brief conversation. I think our deal's done. I don't want to be your lapdog anymore. Like I want to take over. And then Shabnam's like, nah, listen.
I think it's very important to note that Victor did not see himself as a lapdog.
Oh, that's true. I'm just paraphrasing a bit, but yeah, literally like yeah. So Victor thinks that he deserves more power. He deserves to have be the head honcho than Shabnam, because obviously again Shabnam didn't really do anything. He just took all the credit for everyone's kills, and also the fact that he reveals that I think I should be leader because I killed Saya, and he holds up Saya's jacket, and you're just like, oh shit. So then basically like he's like, listen, like we're gonna have a vote, and what's it called? So Victor, it's so in terms of Victor, going through, it's I believe it's Brandy, Steven for Victor. For what?
I thought it was old Polly.
Oh yeah, it is Paul. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the book and I thought that was Brandy.
I'm just wondering how Polly got a seat at the table, which is my thing, because he was just kind of there.
Again, because everybody loves Polly. That's why, especially Victor.
Crap, you're right.
So,
you're right.
Yeah, so it's Polly, Steven, and Victor in favor for Victor, and then it's split with Shabnam, Brandy, and Grogda in place of Shabnam, and then literally, so it's split down the middle, and then Fred is like, "Do I get a vote?" Because, and then they're just like, "Yeah,
No, we don't respect you.
We don't respect you at all. Because we know what you, because we know all you, we know what you did, but you know, we know that you had to kill Bill to get a seat at the table, but it was barely a seat to begin with." And Brandy basically calls her out on it, and Petra gets so mad that she literally was like, "Oh," she really pretty much gets so mad she tackles Brandy, starts beating the shit out of her, calls her out on her privilege, and basically is like, "Yo, what the hell do you know? Like, you've never struggled. You pretty much have everything given to you on a silver platter," and then basically takes a makeup kit, which is laced with some kind of poison because Petra's a poison gal. Throws this powder into Brandy's face, and then Brandy starts freaking like vomiting blood, and pretty much is like, "Yeah, Shabnam, you're right. You're a weak piece of shit." Like, he's like, "And you're a weak piece of shit," and then literally just like, and for climbing the ladder, and like, "No one's ever gonna respect you," and just walks away. And,
oh no, he called Grogda the ladder climber.
Oh, my fault. Yeah.
Yeah, can we talk real quick about how everyone was like bullying Petra, but like half of these people haven't even killed someone to like.
Right.
True. Like at least Petra like did some shit during the purge.
I feel like Petra's the only one in this group besides Victor who lives up to the assassin school name. Mm-hmm. Oh no! I'm sorry. Steven does because he killed his ex-boyfriend. And that was brutal. I still think about that one.
Oh really? And I'm gonna assume that Brandy has too, just because like, why wouldn't she? Like
Has she actually though? I don't remember her.
Not in the comic, at least. I don't think.
Not from what we've seen, but I'm just assuming because she also is. Because she's the head of the Dixie Mob, so there's also a reputation she has to maintain, not just with her friends, but also with her family and her organization. So I would assume she must have killed some people.
Shabnam has definitely never killed a person, though. I can say that with full heart.
He has nobody. He has no bodies at all. But yeah. So then, and then I love the point where Shabnam makes when she walks out. He's like, "You can change your clothes, but you can't change what you've done. You murdered Billy because you murdered Billy to get here, and now you have no one." So she's pretty much on her own, pretty much. So transitions to Quan, and Quan is doing some snooping. He sneaks into Saya's room, and is searching for anything he can find on any dirt that he can have to discredit Saya, just to make Kenji happy. And then underneath, we see Saya has Marcus's. I think it's Marcus's. I wasn't sure if it was Marcus's journal or it was her own personal journal, but I just assumed it was Marcus's just because previously I didn't mention this, but Maria buys Marcus a new journal because he lost his old one. So
I just assumed that she continued in one of his.
Yeah, because
I'm with you, Mikey.
Yeah, because I remember at one point Saya took Marcus's journal because due to the whole pledge thing that she had with Master Lin. So he finds Marcus's journal. Saya continues to write in, and basically spills all the tea. He pretty much figures out that Saya faked Marcus's death. That Saya did stab Marcus. That Saya did stab Marcus. Faked his death, make it look like that he was dead by stabbing him in an area where none of his vital organs were damaged, and as well as his vertebrae, and also dipped the sword in poison so that it could slow his heart rate long enough to the point where it would make him seem like he was dead, but his brain and everything would still function. And then he wakes up in the mortuary in the King's morgue, and gets him out of there, and pretty much basically tells him about the promise to never come back to King's Dominion and just go to the beach that he talked about that his dad talked about, because just go with Maria. Actually, no, tells him to find Maria because she knows where Maria was held up because she found that out. That was an information that she was keeping for a while, and basically just Marcus just thanks her and then he just sends her off. And pretty much that's when he learns about the location where Marcus is at the beach, and he smiled while looking at the book. Transitions again to Mrs. Kuroki, Saya's mom, waking her up, and is like, "Hey, yo, listen, like, my bad for like poisoning you and shit. My fault. Yeah, it turns out, look, due to what you did, due to going back to Kings and like, stepping up to your brother, the Yakuza actually want you to run the Kuroki Syndicate, and it's making you realize that they don't want Kenji because he's a loser."
That made me laugh so hard when they said that.
I died. That was so funny, and Kenji was like, Kenji's pissed because the last thing he wanted was to make him.
He didn't want to add to the myth.
Didn't want to add to the whole myth of how great you are. So yeah, I gotta get you the hell out of here and keep you in hiding. I sent all the guards away. So let's just get you the fuck out of here. They stumbled down the stairs to have freaking Kenji facing them right at the bottom, and basically just like, yo, so like, oh, so you plan to just define me like that? You wanted to betray me? And basically like Mrs. Kuroki's like, yo, you've gone too far. He's like, yeah, everything, you gotta stop this. He backhands, he basically punches, he decks his mom right in the face, and then starts
wild.
Wailing. And then he's like, yo, like, it's like, and basically like, mom, you've amazed me though. I realize that you can put you can put anything you can set your mind to. And he basically like, he punches. Here's the thing that lost me.
He like beats on his mom.
Yeah, did he beat on his mom or did he beat on Saya? Because we see a crack and we see Saya within
I think she's starting to wake up, but he's not gonna let that happen.
Yeah, word. So she's like, yeah, no, don't, and we hear a crack, and then that's how issue 28 ends. So it's also issue 28. It's a long one, yeah. It's both these issues were dense as hell, so it was a lot. What are your thoughts? Give me some thoughts.
I just keep hating Kenji more and more, which is good. He's not likable, and I appreciate that. I don't think I've seen a single redeeming quality in this man so far.
Yeah, no, he's just a piece of shit through and through. That's just Kenji.
But I am a little confused at what he was gonna do, because the mom said that he can't kill Saya, or he'll look weak.
Because the Yakuza don't want him to.
So I'm curious as to what his solution was gonna be if he can't kill her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like it's one of those like lose-lose situations where he can't really do anything right. You know?
Yeah.
You know what? That's fair.
He was probably better off just leaving Saya where she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. He just kept her unconscious. Like that. That's honestly what could have been. That's probably what he should have done.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
But yeah. I thought this issue was cool. It was a cool issue. Definitely love the stuff with Quan and Kenji, just because like it's really unraveling like what did Quan clearly had to do something in order to do business with Kenji in the first place. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Also the fact that like the stuff between them trying to like figure out like what that will happen to Sai in the first place is like the new deadly class, and how Lin is kind of like on. It's kind of ambiguous, like, yeah, Lin clearly knows that they don't know anything, they don't have anything to do with it, but he still suspects them regardless. So that's very interesting. The stuff with the power dynamic between, Shabnam losing his power with the power dynamic with, the student council, and how, that fixed relationship with Braga, relationship with Victor, and how I love that scene with Petra so much, where she's like, yo, fuck y'all. Like, I'm not. Like, fuck y'all ain't shit to begin with, and just like messes up Brandy. I think it's great because Brandy's racist, and we don't love racists on the indie corner. So
Brandy's I forgot how aggressively racist. Sometimes I forget how aggressively racist Brandy is, but this next issue is definitely one that reminded me of it.
Oh, 100%. Oh Lord. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, I thought it was a good issue overall. I mean, I'm gonna say this off rip. We're not gonna see Saya for the rest of this volume, so which sucks, but.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that reading through this. I thought this was going to be her like whole arc again.
Yeah,
No, they
but
just kind of drop her for a bit.
which is fine
I
because
think that's kind of like what they did when Maria went missing the first time. They just kind of didn't bring her up for a little bit.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, so they're just giving her a little bit of a breather, which is fine because the next 3 issues, I do love how they do flesh out they give more of the other they give more time to the new Deadly class, which I like a lot. So
Yeah, the freshman.
yeah, with the freshmen. So yeah, any other thoughts on issue 28 before we move on to issue 29?
Yeah, this issue I think feels a little bit too split between the different storylines, and I understand like why you have to check in on everyone, but I think the other issues do it a little better when they just stick to like, 1 or 2 of them at a time.
Okay,
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, it was jarring to go back to Tokyo a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, sometimes like the back and forth can be a little. It also confused me a little bit sometimes with the pacing, but yeah, that's just me. But yeah, any other thoughts before we move on? All right, so we're gonna move on to issue 29. 29. Cool cover.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the last cover was my favorite cover, but this is another good cover. I think. A little classic. Everyone wielding their weapon. Big line down the middle. There's nothing not to like about it.
That's the thing. I love, like, shout out to Wes Craig and Romero, because I love the fact that each Deadly class member has a signature weapon. I love that a lot. I think it's so fun.
I love that Zenel's just a hammer, just a couple of hammers.
And we saw her use them shits last volume too. Like Jesus Christ. But yeah, I think it's really cool. But all right, bro, start us off, bro.
But yeah, so yeah, that's the cover. But this issue starts off with all of us coming, and they're trying to set up for a pep rally. They're talking about how everything's going really weird. We see that Brandy has bandage around her neck because she got all messed up from Petra's poison, and she started throwing up. And they're talking about like how everyone's saying we're weak now. We need to do something. Rumors spread. Perception is power. That kind of stuff. And they're talking about how like Victor's now taking credit for Saya. And we could just go tell Headmaster Lin, but Headmaster Lin does not like snitches.
Yeah, that's true. I know what I love about Lin a lot, though. Even though, even though he wants everyone to respect his rule and follow him accordingly, he's just gonna be 10 times worse to you, not just if you break a rule, but if you snitch to someone breaking a rule. I think that's amazing.
I mean, it's great. I mean, no one likes someone who runs to daddy whenever there's trouble.
That's true.
Yeah. I also feel like it ties into the theme of like kind of having to fight your own battles too. Like,
yes,
you're all assassins here. Grow up and just kill someone about it.
But anyway, they're setting up for this pep rally, and while they're setting up for the pep rally, our boy, he falls off the ladder, and he's like, "Hey, you guys are just not gonna help old Polly here?" I love how he refers to himself as old Polly every time too.
The third person is hilarious, but like if you're Polly, you got
him. But anyway, he just kind of craps on them and the supplies they got for this pep rally. And he's saying like, you guys are doing a crap job running the school. And Chapman's like, it doesn't matter if we do a good job. It just matters as long as we hold the power. And then they walk out, and it's just the dark scene of them having all the black silhouettes walking out. And now we cut to Quan, who's making a call with his karaoke friend, letting him know that, hey, you got it.
I said Kenji. That's his
karaoke. Yeah, karaoke friend Kenji. But yeah, he's letting Kenji know, like, hey, Saya shouldn't have the honor she has. Marcus is alive, and she just kind of let him go, and I know where he is. And this is where Kenji's like, well, go find him and bring him back to the school for Master Lin for me. It's like, I can't do. And Quan tries to say he can't do that, but this is where we get the reveal of why Quan is kind of Kenji's bitch right now. We learn that he has knocked up the daughter of a Yakuza member, like a high-ranking one, And because he's half Vietnamese and half white, he's, in their eyes, tainted her, getting her pregnant, and it would result in not only his death, but actually her death as well.
Well, not only that, but like he got her pregnant and made her get an abortion. So
yes, she had to have an abortion. I forgot to mention the abortion she had to have. But because of that, both of them would have been killed. He would have basically dishonored her entire family for it. The only way to wipe that would have been to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Kenji goes like, "Hey, you got to deliver Marcus to me in the next few days. Otherwise, it's your head, basically."
Yeah, you're not.
But I also love how everything kind of goes shitty for Quan in like waves. Like it's never just one thing that goes bad for him. It's always like 2 or 3. Because right away, next, Victor comes up and is like, "Hey, I just want you to know, I saw you stab Saya. I was about to shoot her, but I saw you stab her, so we're gonna have a little walk and talk." And he walks into the bathroom telling him, "Hey, I think it's best for everyone if I killed Saya. You understand? Say it with me. Victor killed Saya." And he actually kicks this kid out of the bathroom while they're having the conversation. And he ends the conversation saying, "Well, you're also going to tell me any information you know, because from now on, you are Victor's bitch." And as he says that, he shoves Quan's face into the glass of the mirror in the bathroom. And then just kind of walks out, saying, "I don't need to oversell my point." Because we all know Victor can. But after we get the Victor cut, we actually cut to the girls' bathroom with Zanelle and Brandy. Brandy's over here saying some racist, really racist stuff, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, she's just getting wild.
We're not gonna go deep into it, but like it's a racist.
Yeah, we don't have to list off slurs or anything.
No, don't. I was gonna skip over most of it, but it mostly gets really heated when Brandy starts coming for Zanelle's hair, and then it just kind of escalates from there into basically a verbal race war. And it ends with Brandy being backed into a corner by Zanelle, but Brandy has this straight razor to Zanelle's neck. Although she's clearly not in control of this situation the entire time. Because Zanelle is saying everything that just kind of refutes Brandy. And it kind of boils down the whole argument of Brandy is special just because she's white and nothing else. And that's all there is about her. And I think Brandy starts to grapple with that a little bit. But it does not last long, I can tell you that.
Yeah. I want to make a note here real quick, because like this scene where like Zenzele confronts Brandy in the bathroom is one of my favorite scenes to put in this volume, just because like obviously Brandy's obviously like being, you know, a fucking Nazi. Like it's just has her own opinions and like her own bigoted opinions about other races and all that stuff, and especially like, you know, how, you know, Zenzele being from Africa, you know, even, and obviously she's a very religious character. Like that was cemented since day one, since we met Zenzele. I was very impressed to in way back when render be like, yeah, like even though Brandy pretty much sees like Zenzele as just another, pretty much as a monkey that she can just toy around wherever she wants, Zenzele is actually like extremely intelligent and actually like knows more about the world than she lays on. And it's just like, especially like, you know, because during that conversation she really talks about how, you know, like just like, you know, whiteness, white privilege, and like, you know, how, you know, the idea of because Brandy brings which all like, why haven't, you know, like, because why haven't, you know, like black people, like, or especially like African Americans haven't, you know, have like risen up in this country like, you know, how my people have. And obviously she mentions like, oh, like obviously like slavery, 400 years of oppression, and like the fact that like, you know, y'all think y'all invented civilization, but you actually didn't. You just imposed your own version of civilization. Like and like, you know, it's like, you know, systematic racism, colonialism, like it just goes on.
Resource theft.
resource theft. It's just like she goes like Zenzele really understands, just not just she understands the Black experience in America, even though she's only been in the States for a very short period of time, but also just the idea of just being an African, colonialization and all that stuff has been prominent and part of Africa's history, since slavery began. So I thought that was very interesting, and the fact that she calls her family, I'm like, what if be real, think about it. What is your family in particular done for society? Absolutely fucking nothing. Y'all have literally just y'all did what you've done to us by stealing, and only advantage you actually have.
Damn it! I wanted you to put in my phone.
So yeah, it's just I thought it was really good. I just had to say that just a real quick rant, but I thought that was a really good confrontation, and also the fact that look at Zenzele compared to we saw what Zenzele could do to somebody when she's pissed off. Why does Brandy think she has a chance? Know what I mean? What?
Well, I guess Brandy hasn't seen her go berserker,
That's true. And again, we established, Rebecca, last episode that Zenzele is really a wolf in sheep's clothing, low key. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
I also think Brandy just thinks she's better than she is.
Be an assassin here.
That's true. What were you saying?
I think also Brandy just thinks she's better than she is. I think she feels like she's done more to deserve what she has than she's actually done, which I feel like is kind of right on target for the Dixie Mob.
That's true.
Yeah, well, I guess that goes back to the whole her being racist thing. Is she underestimates Zenzele?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But this scene ends with Zanelle walking away. Like I said, I was ending where it's the only thing special about Brandy, according to Brandy herself, is just the color of her skin. And Brandy grappled with that for all of 2 seconds, and then I think was thinking of revenge for the rest of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, after that, we moved back to Petra, and I am so happy to see Petra back in her not blonde girl outfit. I hated her dress like that. I love her with the black hair and the blue streak.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I also missed it too. I did not like.
It really does it. She looks more natural like this. But anyway, she's sitting right by Billy's gravestone, talking about how I would have killed myself before. I could have just done it sooner and saved us both the trouble. Because death is the only thing she wants. And she's talking about it, and she's cutting herself, being really sad about how the way things ended with Billy and how she kind of let this place change her. And as she's cutting herself, our friend Helmet walks up and says the thing about change is if we make the wrong one, sometimes we can change back. And while I don't think that this is one of those times that she can change back, I think it's important for her to not give up in this circumstance. So I think it's good for him to talk about change with her.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's talking about how this freshman doesn't know what he's talking about. And he's like, I'm not going to give some lecture. Just live one more night and we'll do something fun. And he's like, and she's waiting for her to answer. And then he doesn't even fully wait. He says, quick, before you make up your mind, a quick reminder what it feels like. About ending herself, I was thinking, sorry. But yeah, a quick reminder how it feels like. And he took her on a train out into the city, and they went to this little 7-Eleven gas station. And she's talking about how there's not real love and how we all just kind of need each other. And that one of the biggest signs that you've grown up is that you have people around you who you love that serve a purpose instead of just loving them for loving them. And she's like, but we don't need anything from you. Helmet's saying, I don't need anything from you, though. And she's like, well, I guess that's true. You're taking me to this crappy 7-Eleven. You could have taken me to a much nicer place if you really wanted something from me. But anyway, they get onto this really nice conversation about music and how metal has gone mainstream and how Petra doesn't like it because of what it's turned into. And Helmet starts talking about, well, how your precious punk and goth music are going to do the exact same thing. There's going to be some corporate shill out at the top who's going to smooth out the edges and market it to a wider audience. And she thinks that her medium of art is incorruptible, that won't happen, that the very nature of her medium is these small, intimate experiences. But what Helmet's trying to tell her is that that's how metal started too. It's just once, especially corporations that can make a profit, realize this kind of thing, they'll make a profit and they'll ruin something that you once loved. And it'll taint it, not just moving forward, but also in some cases it's already out there. Because it'll like shill it out and make it weak. It won't feel as real almost. But while he's doing this, oh, you got it.
Not gonna lie. While it is, I'm like, I thought metal and punk was the same shit. I didn't really like.
There are places you would get punched for saying that, Mikey.
About the difference between genre, we're gonna get that fucking Midwest emo copy pasta in our comments.
Oh my god!
I'm like really in this situation, bro. I'm like, this isn't a fucking rap. That's it,
bro. Everything else is the same, right?
Yeah.
But my favorite part is while they're having this conversation about music and getting their stuff from the 7-Eleven, Helmet is buying like 9 frozen burritos. And when he was first buying these burritos, I thought to myself, from the last issue, like, oh, this is why he has stomach problems.
Yeah, so
little did I know.
He's squirting so much.
Little did I know that's not what he was buying his burritos for.
Hey, hear me out.
Yeah.
I remember the last time we took a trip to 7-Eleven. If you saw me, I don't know, where I buy fucking like 12 fucking frozen burritos from the 7-Eleven.
I think you're having an awful night.
No.
My immediate thought is, wow, he's in for a rough time.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was hilarious.
And honestly, thank God that's not what he was doing with them. Can't say what he was doing actually was much better, but it was better for him at least. But anyway, they kind of finish up their conversation about music and how eventually the individuality that she craves from her music will become conformity, because it won't just be like smaller crowds, it'll be like a wider audience. And it'll have a detrimental effect on not just what was released already, but what was going to be released. And that's when Helmet says, hush. They found a target. For what? We don't know. But then we zoom in on this man just innocently watching TV on a lounge chair, right in front of his patio door. And while he's unknowingly just sitting there watching, enjoying his night, Petra and Helmet are lining up a shot with a water gun balloon and a frozen burrito. Petra pulls it back as hard as she can, and she launches it, hits him square in the chest. He's convulsing, freaking out. He just wants to know why.
And he is like,
I thought this was going to end with him legit dying from being hit by
the burrito.
That's what I thought too.
These burritos are still frozen, so it's like he probably got shot. Like it's like someone fucking like if someone like threw a fucking rock at like 4 miles per hour. Like,
do you think he ate the burrito though? Is my question.
Listen, it's free food.
Question of the day: if you got hit by a frozen burrito flying 4 miles per hour, would you eat it? Yes or no?
Yes or no. That's the question for tonight, guys.
Yes, I think my answer is yes.
Wait, here's the
thing.
Locking it in. I want to take a note real quick that like when I was watching it, while in the panel on the left side, where he's watching TV, it's he's making a note where it's like I think the TV's talking about how like there's talking about like an heir to like a Russian throne. So I feel like my headcanon is like I think freaking Helmet's only doing this burrito thing to people who are Russian because he hates Russians.
Oh, I could see that. He does not like Russians.
I mean, he seemed to know where he was going, so...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I think he only goes to Russian homes and then to fuck with people. You know?
You know what? Honestly, I like this theory. I'm gonna choose to support it.
Yeah, because through this relationship with Victor, like, that's what I'm thinking.
But anyway, after our man is screaming "Why" into the night after he got hit in the chest by a burrito, the two of them sit on their roof laughing, joking about how Petra was almost peeing herself, and how Helmet liked her smile, and how that they probably just created a superhero origin story tonight of Burrito Man. And we get this comical drawing of our character who got hit by a burrito with a utility belt full of burritos and a sombrero.
I don't have this image, but I love it so much.
Here, I'll try to show a little bit of it with my thing, but
I'll full screen you. Give me a second. I'll full screen
it's beautiful.
I think it's so good. Like, I think it's look at that. Look at that. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's the burrito, not even Burrito Man, just the burrito.
It's the burrito.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, they should have made that as a backup in this book.
Right? Oh yeah, side character. It's just the actual hero origin story. But anyway, they're talking about more how King Dominion kind of corrupts you. It ruins your heart. And how even though that she's on the student council, the things she had to do for get there, she can't even tell Helmet because he's a freshman. Remember, they keep the freshman year finals secret from freshmen, so that means she can't tell him, otherwise she'll be in trouble.
Exactly.
But she just talks about how, she climbed the ladder, and this is actually where we get into the part where Mikey was talking earlier, how we talked about the sad nerd who gets power, and how that's dangerous, and he just becomes an even worse person than the people who bullied him in the first place. And Helmet's confused at why she hangs out with him then. And she's like, well, I'm an accomplished piece of shit. I got to the top, and these are the people at the top. She doesn't like it, and she doesn't seem like she's going to be there long, because no one at the top likes her, but that's where she was. And then she talks about how she had to kill, and Helmet's like, yeah, I've had to kill too. The Stasi trained me to be an animal. You can't change what you've done, but you can change how you feel about it. You can let it not change you into something you're not. And he goes on about how some people, when you do that, they'll really love you, others won't. But the ones who love you will really love you. And then we kind of end that issue with the two of them kissing on the rooftop.
I like Petra and Helmet. I kind of like it a little bit, the relationship. I love the fact that when you just mentioned the fact it's like, yeah, it's like, oh, I've killed people. Yeah, come on, I've killed people all the time. I'm fine. I'm great. Like, come on.
There are a couple things I noticed in the next issue that have me feeling some weird type of way about it, but we'll get to that in the next issue.
I don't know how I feel about the relationship, but I think it's cute that he like took her out to like give her that spark of life again, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think how they bonded was great. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah. It is interesting because like Petra as a character, and from when we meet her, she feels like that she was always her crowd was always like the losers, the rats, you know, the I forget what they actually like refer to them as themselves as a book, as in the book.
The punks and goths and burnouts.
Exactly. And those are always her crowds. The moment she changed in order to she up the ladder after killing Billy and joined the student council and changed her appearance, obviously she wasn't herself and it was killing her, like literally killing her. So like I love the fact that like, you know, all it took was another degenerate in the form of Helmet to, you know, bring her back to ground her again in terms of, you know, as a reminder of like, you know, that's what I like about this relationship so far is, you know, the fact that like he's the one, you know, bringing Petra, you know, back to life, like the Petra we know back to life, and it's so cool.
I think something I've noticed with Petra is that she dangerously depends on people sometimes, though. And And those are a couple of things I'll point out in the next issue that I'm concerned about this relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, I also think it's kind of interesting that Petra has this whole like talk about how like, you know, goth is always going to be authentic and stuff like that, but like she also sold out her being goth for a while to be like this other person, you know.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That's right.
But yeah. Oh, this issue was a nice. I feel this issue's a nice little breather. It's a nice little breather issue. But but again, I love the.
That's what it feels like. I won't lie.
It's a nice little breather. Nothing too crazy happens in it, but like one thing that's crazy that happens in it is the whole Quan Kenji situation.
Right.
And the Quan and the reveal of why Quan is in cahoots with Kenji, I thought was really interesting. And I was like, yo, he knocked up a Yakuza, the daughter of a Yakuza boss. That is not something you should do.
No.
Especially if you're not Japanese. Oh shit.
Especially if you want to live, Mikey.
That's true, but like it's like the thing is like because like this Yakuza boss doesn't know. Because the thing is like I personally think if the guy if this daughter was knocked up by a Japanese man, would he get a punishment? Of course he would, but like not to the judgment of someone who is not Japanese.
Yeah, death. It probably wouldn't have been death, but
yeah.
It still wouldn't have been pretty, I don't think.
Something would have been cut off. I don't know what, but something would have been cut off. But yeah, so I do like the fact that like Kenji, that Quan is in a tight situation, not just with Kenji, but also with Victor. Now that Victor officially is making him his bitch. That's interesting. Yeah, so I love the stuff that they're doing with Quan and with Quan, and it's like he's going through a lot. And you're right, Demoan. Every time he gets punished like 3 times over, not just once.
It just keeps escalating.
When it rains, it pours for him. It's sad to see, but I also can't feel sorry for him.
I don't feel, at least at this point in the story, all that much sympathy for him, especially because they set him up as like a backstabber.
Exactly. Like
he's one of my favorite characters too.
It feels very much. Sorry to interrupt, Mikey. It feels very much like Marcus in those issues where he's just being a scumbag, you know?
Yes, that's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah, he is the Marcus adjacent in the new Deadly class.
Marcus is the new he's the new freshman, Marcus.
Yeah,
especially because he was also Sai's pledge. Right? No, I'm sorry, that was Zanel.
That was Zanella, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the stuff with him is really good. And again, like Victor, man, Victor's being Victor. Love that shit. And also,
Victor gets more terrifying because he's very clearly learning from his mistakes.
Which is scary because like Victor's an idiot. So,
yeah, it's scary that he's getting a brain too.
That's what I'm saying, right? He's already massive. Like he doesn't need a brain too. But also, yeah, the stuff with Zenzeli and Brandy, I love that scene a lot. I thought it was very well written. And again, like I just find it hilarious and like, yeah, like really comes to show that like, yeah, Zenzeli, especially from the reveal from last volume, she's a wolf in sheep's clothing. And the fact that Brandy is so bigoted and arrogant to see it. Because she steps up to this girl. That man doesn't give a fuck. She has a knife, she has a blade pointed to her throat and doesn't care. She just keeps going. You know what I mean? Like it's just. Rebecca, I don't know about you. I'm waiting for the moment where Zenzeli just goes off and just kills Pierce.
Her like snap moment.
I'm waiting for it because
it's coming.
That was my favorite reveal of last volume when she just snapped and just murdered. She murdered 2 dudes that were 3 times her size. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. She seems I'm really interested in her character right now because we don't know all that much about her, even with what we learned in this volume. So I'm excited to see her snap / reach her full potential and whatever the fuck she can do,
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I would compare her like her personality and her arc as a character kind of to Saya in terms of like the mysterious nature of it, So yeah, so she's kind of like the Saya adjacent deadly class. Besides, like the whole Jesus thing. So.
She's really into Jesus. That is another thing.
She got Jesus jammed up in her head. It's crazy. But yeah, that's all I gotta say on this issue. Though. I think it's solid. It's a nice little breather.
Yeah, I think it's a good bridge issue. I feel like it's setting up a lot for the next couple of issues and like other things to come down the line.
All right, so we ready to move on to issue 30?
Yeah.
All right, so issue 30, people. Cool cover. I like this cover a lot. I like the colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always love Southwestern Sky, right? Because they're over in by California, Mexico.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess.
Yep.
There's something about the desert sky. It's real pretty.
I also want you to make a note. I apologize. I'm hungry as shit. I did not eat anything, so I'm just snacking on chips.
Anytime we do these, Mikey is starving. Half the time he has to wait till after the podcast is over to eat.
I know. So, if you can hear me chew, which I doubt, but like, I just want to apologize in advance.
Well, I haven't been able to hear it, so I think we're good on this end at least. Hasn't been coming through, I don't think. But no, very, very pretty color. Very pretty cover with this one.
Yeah.
Nice and simple, though. Love a desert sky. But anyway, this issue opens with Zanelle writing letters to her parents. You know, something she's done multiple times before. She's talking about how she feels like she has more of a place here at King's Dominion, and how that she feels like she's found her people, and she feels like they're bonding, and that they accept her for her, and they like who she is. And even more surprising to herself, she's letting them in. And she's saying that she feels like she found this family in the couple of months that she's been here at King's Dominion. Which, honestly, I guess all the trauma bonding they did would add up to that. But as we're looking at like the panels and stuff, we see that Kwan's walking out of the gas station. Tashahi? What? How did you pronounce it, Mikey? I'm sorry. I can't. Tashawi?
Yeah.
Okay, Tashawi. Doing his skateboard tricks, and all of them are on this cross-country road trip. Well, not cross-country, down to Mexico.
I mean, that's technically a cross-country, but...
That's true. And I think we all know who suggested they go to Mexico.
I would. I have no idea, Demoan. I have no idea who suggested they should go to Mexico.
Damn. Well, at the very least, I know it could not possibly be Kwan.
Yeah, it can't be Kwan. He's too loyal. He's innocent. He don't hurt anybody.
Exactly. But anyway, they're going on about, and she's writing her letter saying that Kwan's taking them to a beautiful beach. They sell really big shrimp there, and it's called Rocky Point. She promises her parents she'll be safe, and then she walks over to the mailbox, puts her letter in, and mails it. Normally this wouldn't be weird, but you'll find out why this is a little strange later. Anyway, everyone gets in the car and pretty much just tries to act like what she's doing isn't weird. And Petra says, enough of this. I chose the last tape. And then we get into this one point where Helmut puts in his tape, and he's headbanging as he's driving. And Zanelle is very worried about it. And Kwan says, well, hey, if we die, we die young. But let's just have a mess of fun while we're young. So they're driving down the road. Petra's smoking a joint. Kwan's drinking in the back. Helmut is headbanging. And it's just Tashawi and Zanelle in the back seat. In the back seat, just kind of looking uncomfortable. They're talking about like, hey, we haven't talked about what's happening at school. And then one thing I really like about this, specifically the middle panels on this page, is he basically takes the same frame and duplicates it, but then he adds this little break in the middle, and I feel like that kind of signifies them putting up a wall between them.
Again,
Yeah.
I love the way Wes Craven's panels, like his paneling is so well done and very well thought out in terms of like what he wants to portray, what type of feeling he wants to portray. And I missed that the first time I read that, and I'm happy you pointed it out again here, Demoan.
Oh yeah, it was one of my, because there's another thing I'm going to point out, which is the helmet stuff and the Petra stuff I was talking about before. Because after this wall goes up, they cut back to Petra and Helmet saying, "Hey, this is amazing. It's like everything I love about Sister of Mercies, but faster." And she's saying that about the music that Helmet put on. And then she starts to say, "I love," and that's when Helmet grabs her by the back of her neck, doesn't let her finish, pulls her in for a kiss. I'm pretty sure she was going to say, "I love you" to Helmet, and he wasn't wanting to hear it. So instead of letting the words slip out, he decided to seal it with a kiss so that the words weren't said. But when he does that, he almost gets them all into an accident because he swerves. Zanelle yells out the back of the car, apologizing, and then leans back in and says, "Hey, if you're gonna get us all killed, just let me out. You're not just risking your own life." And then she looks a little closer and she sees that he's marijuana driving. Apparently the stress of almost getting in an accident got him a little stressed, and so he thought he'd spark up while he was driving on the road. Kids, don't do drugs and drive. Of course, when Zanelle is offered, she denies. Tasawe says, "Hey, I think it's cool that she's not doing drugs." And Helmet's like, "Yeah, I mean, I guess I respect her for standing up for herself, but, you know, it's kind of like liking a shitty band. You respect someone for liking the band, but you really don't gotta like their taste." That's how he describes it.
No, he's like, "I think it's hot that Zentellian's not doing drugs." Come on, let's be real. Come on.
Well, you don't do drugs, you're so cool. I say, having never done drugs.
Rebecca, you are cool.
It's true.
That's debatable, but
Oh, come on. Fuck.
But anyway, they're talking about how life is short. They're trying to convince her to do drugs, which, you know, peer pressure is not cool, kids. Again, although she says specifically that God does not smile upon casual fornication, to which Petra asks, "How do you know?" And Zanelle's response is AIDS. This is God's way of stopping us from sin. And
I'm sorry,
that's which I think is just a strange way to think of it. Petra thinks
the way you said that, the way you delivered that, I'm sorry, I'm gonna choke on my chest. That was fucking hilarious. Oh yeah, the answer is AIDS. Okay.
Yeah, Jesus. I mean, the answer was AIDS for her, and Petra says we're the first generation to die from. Yeah, you got it. Sorry.
Yeah, that's pretty much what she said. She's just like, yeah, like the reason why AIDS exists is the fact that it's God punishing us for our sins. And then Petra's like, shut the fuck up, like stop it.
Right, it's also like vaguely homophobic when she says it.
It is. And Petra kind of vaguely calls her out on it, that AIDS, which is like a tragedy pandemic, and they attribute that act to a loving God.
Yeah.
And she's the hypocrisy of the situation.
That's the thing, right? Yeah, like it's like, why would a loving God like create a pandemic to wipe out people? For what? For why?
There's a lot of questions to be asked that I don't think Zanelle has gotten to the point of asking yet. But they keep going on more about conversations about music. They get on Duran Duran again. They like to shit on Duran Duran in this book. I have no opinions on Duran Duran, but something I've noticed. Um, gosh. But as they're arguing, Quan tries to get them to play some of his music. And this is where they kind of get into a bit of a heated argument. Tasawe is kind of blaming like all white people as the same, and even blaming white people which understandably his people were. He's Native American, if you haven't picked up on that. So his relationship with
specifically his Comanche.
Comanche, yes, Comanche.
And people don't know the history of the Comanche. They were like badass warrior Native Americans. Like they were pretty wild.
It seems every story I've heard of them of their exploits has been vaguely terrifying, and honestly, I respect it. But that's not the point right now.
Yeah.
He gets on this talk about blaming white people for stuff, but like he's blaming Helmet, and Helmet is a German-raised, born and bred male. He would have had nothing to do with what happened to the Comanche and to Shawe and his people, but he's still getting blamed because he's white, and they're going on and talking about how like not all white people deserve the blame, and you're just casting hate. It might be righteously placed hate in some regards, but it's still hate. But then they go on about how lumping people together is dangerous. You can't take large groups of people and assume they're all going to be the exact same. And it all just kind of ends with Zanel going, no matter where it's directed, the problem is hate. And the biggest issue is that everyone's certain that theirs is righteous.
Yeah, which again, these are good points.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually very surprised, like, no, like there's actually like making good points.
No, yeah, it's a lot of good points. But it's also like you can see that it's a vicious cycle that they're in, and it's impossible to break the cycle unless you're the first one to break the cycle.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, we cut to them in a McDonald's. Helmet coming out of his bathroom, signature clogging the toilet as always, saying how he's conquered.
Stop fitting, Jesus Christ.
This man, he's like conquered the toilet. They call him Conan of the Can, which I thought was a really good joke. But anyway, they're still kind of arguing with Tashawe when he gets out of there. He's talking about how Quan ran off during the pep rally, not a scratch on him. And Helmet comes to defend his friend Quan. And as they're doing that, we get a view of a sniper rifle through a scope. And we get a zoom out and we see Victor and Brandy. And they're tracking down our friends. Victor decides not to take the shot because there's no way he can get all of them before at least some of them find cover. But what's important is they know where they are and they're just going to follow. And I'm not going to lie, it was, I think, right around here that I started getting really familiar flashback road trip vibes from the first road trip they went on, the drug-induced one.
The Vegas trip?
Yeah.
They went to his dad. Yeah, so
yep, this one gives giving me real similar energy from the start, and now I was kind of getting to see why.
You know what the difference is, though?
What?
They didn't get drunk. They didn't get bung drugs from a bunch of hippies this time.
You're right. They brought their own drugs, as we'll see later. They learned from their mistake. Anyway, all of them go back to the car, except Quan kind of shoots off and says, hey, I'm not getting in the car with Tashawe. It's him or me. You guys decide. You guys hash it out. So I guess they convinced Tashawe to go over and talk it out, kind of apologize so they don't have to pick someone and no one gets stranded. So they talk and they said, hey, Quan's like, hey, I know it just feels natural to kind of shit on the top dog and to fit in with the losers. But right now you're already in the group, so there's no reason to really shit on anyone. We're like it's a good group of people. Just kind of calm down. Take your feet off the gas. And he kind of says, you know what? I'm not one to hold grudges. Let's go on this slide and we'll both get in the car. We'll just call it okay. So Quan goes down the slide, and Quan at one point goes whoosh, and then he comes out, hand covered in shit, pants covered in shit. And And of course, our friend Tashawa is coming up right behind him, and he says, "Is it good to come down?" It's like, "Yeah, super fun. In fact, go head first." So presumably he goes head first into the shit. And it was, honestly, it would have been real funny to see, but I'm glad we did not get to see a shit-faced man.
Yeah, I gotta say, reading this book, there's a lot more shit-based humor in it than I would have expected.
Oh, honestly, that brings me back to actually this one little thing that Helmut was saying. He was talking about how toilet humor, gosh, where was the exact quote? Because he was talking about how, now I see, I think smart people turn to toilet humor as a way of embracing our true nature. No airs, no need to sell intelligence and how haughty I am. And I guess they just really like toilet humor in this book, and Remender is a fan, so.
Yeah.
You go, Remender.
Again, when we get him on the show, we're going to ask him, yo, why do you like toilet humor so much?
Right, toilet humor and Revenge of the Nerds. Should we make a list?
I think, yeah, we should. We'll that's how we're going to start it off.
You know what? Yeah, I think we should start it off like that. But anyway, they finally get to Puerto Penasco. Yep. And they're going to go check in. Petra and Quan kind of split off to go grab some stuff because Quan's fingers are feeling a mighty bit sticky. So he's thinking he might get himself some supplies. But they're walking up to try to get the supplies, and they pass a man on a payphone. This man on a payphone looks very familiar. And he's talking about how he needs passports. One for Maria, which is a name that only Petra would recognize, and the other is for Marcus Lopez Arguello. Arguello. Gosh, I don't know where I thought the second R was coming from. Arguello. And that's when Quan looks over at Marcus, and Marcus looks back at him. And I think right at this moment, Marcus immediately clocks that something is up.
Yeah. He's just like, who the fuck is this guy? He already knows like it's a little sus. He looked at him a little bit too long.
But anyway, Marcus turns back to the phone, says nothing's wrong. Quan pulls out a picture, sees that's the guy, and then he pulls out, I guess, a sock of coins, if I had to do my best guess, to knock him out. But he gets stopped because from the next room we hear a loud exclamation, and we see that Petra and our girl Maria are reunited, and it's a dream to be true. And of course it ends with like, hey, this can't be real, it isn't possible. And Marcus saying, you know what? I really can't believe it. And that's how issue 30 ends.
And this is the part of the book where I was like, oh, well, shit. Like, this is not gonna end well because there's so many like loose ends between all of them. Like, one, the fact that they think Billy's alive, the fact that they don't know that Petra killed Billy, the fact that
they don't know Victor's after them.
I love Maria's genuine excitement at seeing Petra.
Right. Yeah. She's so genuinely happy for it.
Genuinely happy to see her. Well, granted, the last time she saw her was, I didn't even think about this. Last time she saw her was like before everything went down. Like before
I don't even think they interacted.
Yeah, before finals.
It was before finals. That was the last time she saw Petra. Yeah, because Lynn gave Maria to the Satovato, to the cartel. Right after she
killed interact in the early story.
I don't. Not much, because I'm pretty sure Marcus had a thing with Petra after Maria left.
Yeah, but
like a short thing.
But Petra was around like their friend group anyway, so like along with like Lex and all that. So yeah, like
that's fair. I guess Marcus's transition into the group was pretty seamless.
Yeah, like I don't remember them. Like I remember Maria and Petra interacting, but like I just assume they must have, because you know, because Marcus was friends with her. So
well, either way, it's a cute moment, and I really like that.
it's really cute when you realize that like this is not gonna end well because like they're all like she's so out of the loop. Marcus is out of the loop. Like it's just like it's yeah.
Scary situation for everyone. It wouldn't want to be me for sure.
Exactly. But yeah, now this issue was great. I thought it was pretty good. Again, just having more time to spend with the new Deadly class. Also want to make a note that like when Zenzele puts like the letter in the mail at the beginning of the issue, they're all weirded out by it, and they're just like, "Whoa, like, is this a little weird to you?" They're just like, "Oh," and as an audience, as a reader, we don't know why they're weirded out by it. There's that. There's Gem just like being teenagers. Yeah, back to now we're like just like the Vegas road trip. It's just them, just like it's just like them just seeing these kids at this deadliest assassin school just be teenagers. That was really great. The stuff with like Petra and Helmet, in the car, that was really fun, as well as like there is kind of like awkwardness / a little bit of chemistry like between Tashawi and Zenzele. I think it's very cute. Like just their awkwardness between each other is very nice. Yeah, more of Quan being a fucking snake is just like it's so good. I like it a lot, especially like the fact that like the thing is like I originally thought that like Tashawi knew what he did in terms of like was suspecting like knew what he did in terms of him and what Quan did to Saya, but then obviously while we're talking about it again, I realized, oh wait, no, that wasn't the case. He's talking about Suba's friend something else, which is again like foreshadowing like the reason why like they decided to go on this road trip in the first place. Why they think Zenzele mailing letters to her parents is weird. So and that's really cool. Yeah, some of the yeah, that was really fun. And then the reconvening, like how they just Quan finds Marcus out of coincidence and tries to take care of it immediately, but then interrupted by Maria freaking out. It was a great ending to it. Yeah, I thought it was fun. It was fun, and it was nice to see these teenagers be teenagers again and be happy for a little bit.
Yeah.
Nothing else? Nothing else?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't really have too many thoughts on this issue.
I love the road trip issues. I think things kind of happen at a fast pace, not necessarily significant, all of them, but I like the pacing of road trip issues.
I think there's some good character moments in here, like Shawi and Quan talking on the slides. I thought that was good. Their whole conversation in the car, I like that. I thought it was funny, when they almost crashed the car because they're making out.
Oh man. Yeah, other than that, I have nothing really else to say. I thought it was a good issue. I thought it was fun. All right, so we'll just move on to the last issue then, and I'll ask Rebecca.
Yep, that's me.
All right, so issue number 31. Take us home, Rebecca.
Woo!
Take us home.
Right. I like this cover a lot. I like the chaoticness of it.
Yep. And we're gonna. I'm not gonna say anything. We'll just go right into it.
All right. So hopping into the final issue of this volume, then we flash back to yesterday at the pep rally led by the sophomore inner circle, but mainly Brandy. However, we quickly realize that this is not a pep rally, but a setup, as Brandy announces to the entire school that Zenzele is allegedly a pervert, which she's not, but she's racist and homophobic and making shit up. And more importantly, that she wrote hundreds of letters to her parents, her dead parents, that Zenzele killed herself. That's all we know about it right now.
Yeah, which I was like, whoa, yo, trauma. I was like,
that's wild if true. But also, I feel like letters aren't like that crazy of a thing to do.
I think it's more like trying to send them to people who aren't alive. That's the crazy part.
Well, no, she stores them under her bed.
I took it that the implication was that they were like kind of returned to sender. I don't know if she was actually sending them out or not, though.
I think that's
Oh,
also
okay. I see.
But yeah, no, like I was like, this, like if this is true, this is wild. But like, why the fuck would we trust Brandy? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah. Also a good point.
yeah,
I saw the letters as kind of a form of self-therapy for her. Trying to work through it.
that could be an angle too that I think would make sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Anyway, Zanzelli tries to run away, but is stopped by Victor, and a fight breaks out between the freshmen and Petra, and then the other sophomores. And it eventually expands to the rest of the student body. And Master Lin simply tells the teachers to observe their students, not trying to stop the fight at all.
Hard. He straight up was like, "Yo, you see this right here? Grade them." I was like, "You're bugging." I was like, well, "What the hell?"
Take notes.
This is the assassin school. You know, gosh, signature though.
That's true.
Yeah. So fed up with Brandy, Petra tells her frying her vocal cords weren't enough, and that she's gonna melt her face. So she goes to throw acid on Brandy, but Brandy dodges it, and the acid hits Shabnam instead, and then the group escapes into chaos.
Bruh, I honestly, the God, I fucking laughed when I saw this.
He deserved it so much.
He
does,
carrying
but,
a
like-
bottle of acid on her at all times. Love her.
And I
She's
love
so
that for her.
iconic.
Yeah, it's wild. And the thing is, like, it's funny because we don't see Shabnam in the rest of this issue. We don't know what he even looks like, how bad the damage was. So like, it's
No.
like, yeah, it's a little teaser for like. That's what kept me wondering. That's what I was wondering when I was reading the whole thing. I was like, we never see fucking Shabnam and what he looks like in this issue at least. It's kind of wild. And then it's like, but yeah, I thought this was cool. Like, especially because then you see Tashawi. Again, the chemistry they're building up here. Tashawi stands up for Zanzelli by whacking Victor, like in the face of his fucking skateboard. That was hilarious. I was like, yo, that's wild. But also the fact that like, I don't know if Rebecca, if you mentioned it or not, but Tashawi, while he's like, you know, being like fucking stomped out by like a bunch of like students, that he notices Quan underneath the bleachers hiding like a little bitch, and that's why he's like summed up with Quan here. I like it.
Yeah, I think they mentioned last issue that he didn't do anything in that fight.
Yeah. Well, they mentioned. He mentioned. Yeah. What? Yeah. That's what Tashai was referring to at the McDonald's, was this moment, and that's why he's suspect with him. So.
All right. So moving on, in the present, Marcus is holding a gun, interrogating the group. He doesn't think he can trust any of them, but is swayed after letting Petra melted Shabnam's face off, saying any enemy of him is a pal of mine, and warns the kids not to go back to King's Dominion. Petra then reveals that if they can be buddy-buddy now, then she's got the perfect thing to facilitate that: ecstasy.
Drugs! Yay!
Now it's really like Vegas.
The solution for everything in this book, apparently. But also the problem.
Yeah, so as they're getting drunk and waiting for the drugs to kick in, Marcus asks Petra how Billy's doing, but she's saved from explaining herself just in time by Helmut barfing into the sink. The older kids then learn from Zanzelli that Saya is presumably dead, and this is immediately followed by Marcus throwing up into the same sink.
Yeah, well, granted, you also forgot to mention that, like did you mention that the ecstasy was laced with heroin?
No, the ecstasy was also laced with heroin.
It's with heroin.
Yeah, that's why they're throwing up.
And puking activates it for some reason.
Yeah, puking is the trigger. Like once you puke, that's when it hits you. Like that's how it got him wild.
Again, I've never done drugs, but I'm not so sure that's how drugs work.
Well,
I've never done any drug that works like that, but I also don't plan to try heroin, so...
True, yeah, I don't... But
Yeah,
like,
you
how
probably
would we know?
shouldn't try that.
No, I don't think... I'm gonna take your advice there, Rebecca.
And also, I love how Petra refers to them as artificial joy. Like, it's so funny. Like...
Anyway, as the drugs get in, then everyone gets really horny. Marcus and Maria start fucking. Helmut and Petra start fucking. And Zanzelli and Tashawi start making out after Tashawi tells her that
you're brushing way to this. There's some good ass moments. You're brushing way too quickly. Come on. Like, it's just... Oh man, I think it's.
What do you want me to say about them fucking, Mikey?
No, it's nothing about the fucking what they're talking about. It's literally just like how Marcus literally is like, yo, like I'm like my train of thought.
Yeah, because they're just fucking.
Well, they were talking about how they didn't want to think about how Willie was dead.
Exactly. Yeah. They didn't want to think about how. Like,
besides that, it was just fucking though. So.
Yeah, word. Yeah, like it's just like they didn't want to talk about how I think like Marcus mentioned. I've been beside himself as like how he thinks he's just old and slow and feels like a zombie or whatever. And she's like, like, and then again, it's Maria like, shut up, like, let's have fun, like, stop being such an edgy boy. We get it. Like, I think it's so funny. But yeah, then it's all to start fucking, and it's just like it's. Mm-hmm. I have to put these pages up because I just love how Wes does these pages. Again, like, go back to the Vegas episode, the Vegas issue. Just the way he does trips is just so interesting, and the way Lou Luridge does the coloring on it is so interesting. And I love the fact that, like, yeah, you have, well, like, in the background, it's literally just like Petra and Helmet like doing the nasty, and you got Marcus and Maria doing the nasty. But at the same time, the more emotional moment is the fact that, like, it's Zenzele and Tashawi kind of like understanding each other a little bit. And
well,
also
after Tashawi puts his balls away. That's an important note.
He did put his nuts out of nowhere. Was that before the threw up? No.
This was the page right before the one you have posted right now.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Which I understand why you didn't post
really
it.
Relevant to the plot, believe it or not.
No, it's not. But something that did happen on that page that I think is relevant is Petra said, "I love you" to Helmet, and said that you're the reason I've decided to keep on living. And Helmet just kind of said, "We all hit our bad streaks."
Yeah,
which I think
I didn't pick up on that when I was reading it, but now that you say it, oof.
Yeah, like.
Which wow.
Yeah, the thing is like but yeah, I love the fact that like I love that like Marcus and Maria are so high that like they're like getting all lovey-dovey and just fucking Maria. You mentioned the whole Petra and Helmet thing about how like he finally said they love each other and all that stuff. I
think Helmet was telling the truth when he said he didn't really want anything from Petra, and Petra has obsessed over him since she's decided to live because of him.
That's true, yeah. Again, a part of the attachment thing that you mentioned before with Petra. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just the dangerous amount of attachment she has. But yeah, but the fact that like, I just love Tashawi. I love Tashawi and Zenzele. I think it's so cute. Like the fact that like, yeah, just like, they're comforting each other. He's just like, I do like the fact that like, I respect the fact you don't do drugs. But like listen, it's once in a lifetime opportunity, like, and listen, like, you always seem like you want to have like control of your life, so like I feel like you deserve giving up control for a change. And I understand it can be scary, but like doing something wrong can also be doing something right. And then that's when she is like, ooh, like the Riz, like it's like
Yeah, he says, "I don't care that you killed your parents," and she's like, "Oh."
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. And then that's.
I'm sorry.
Like, once he puts that Comanche Riz on her, that's when she accepts the ass, and then they kiss, and then like they don't even have sex. They just like comfort each other, which is like that's so sweet. Like,
well, she's a Christian girl, Mikey.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Right, Jesus freak. Right. It's just, but yeah, I just think it's great. And listen, I love to see a short king, tall queen relationship. Let's go. All right.
We support.
We support. All right. All right, dude, I'm done. I'm done with the rant. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, while everyone is fucking and making out and whatnot, Quan is also just standing there.
Yeah, Quan's just chilling. Quan's not paired up. He's just watching. He just likes to watch.
Yeah, he's a watcher, bro. He's a watcher. That's his thing.
So post-sex, everyone's hanging out, and Marcus, showing some growth here, tells Quan about how it's not good to be a loner, and in so many words and a metaphor about mice, that friends will fill the void more than drugs ever could.
Yes. And I know I've been harking on it a lot, but this is another Helmet Petra moment also, because the first words on the page are from Helmet, and it says, "Look, I know I just met you, but I love you, Maria. You're such a beautiful person." And Petra's response is, "Cool. I'm not jealous. I'm not." Like she's trying to talk herself out of it.
Yeah, I actually didn't catch that at first.
I read that as more like comedic, but again, with your reading, I can see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. It feels like there's a lot going on with Petra. She seems very overwhelmed. She definitely shouldn't be in a relationship right now.
I mean, like, look how quickly she switched, like, from normal to goth and whatnot, you know? Like, she doesn't really have that great a sense of self, it seems like.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of her big problems. But, you know, she's alive, and that's what matters for her character right now.
I'm sorry. Wow. That's so cold.
I mean, it's a character in a book. I can't help her. I just feel sad for her.
You can only watch in horror.
Right? Like, oh, yeah, but she's a mess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So anyway, Quan starts crying, and he laments that he's always been alone, so it's easier and safer for him to stay that way. Marcus gives him a hug, and Quan goes outside to get some air and some coke, as in the drink, not the drug. I should probably clarify that.
That's actually a good clarification, I'm not gonna lie.
But while he's out there, he runs into Brandy and Victor. The two are surprised to learn that Maria and Marcus are there, but see it as a good opportunity to wipe them out for good. Quan says they don't need to kill them, but Victor strangles him and threatens him, while basically calling him a coward, and tells him to leave the door to the room unlocked, which Quan, we see, reluctantly does.
He's the bitch.
Yeah. And Victor really told Brandy, though, you don't want that feminist bullshit, though.
Yeah, she's like, I want to be on the top, and he's like, no, you don't. I'm in charge.
But, you know, I'm the one on top. You're gonna be the submissive one, and she's just like, okay.
Sure.
I was like, the change up was so quick. She respects herself so little.
Yeah.
The only thing special about her is that she's white.
That's true.
It's true.
And
even that's not that special.
Yeah.
Anyway, elsewhere, the Kuroki gang also shows up to the motel, reiterating that they want Marcus alive. Then we cut to Victor and Brandy breaking into the room, only to see the group running away outside and now cornered by the Kuroki syndicate. Victor is nevertheless still aiming to take his shot at the group when he hears a scream and looks back to see Brandy with a knife in her chest and Marcus pointing a gun at him. And that's the end of issue 31.
And this is the moment where I'm just like, this motherfucker better not miss this time.
Honestly, he already fucked up by saying words and not shooting. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's true. It's true. It's true. But yeah, man, I love this ending. The fact that, like, yeah, not only does, you know, because when you see Victor and like Brandy show up, like, you're like, oh shit, like it's about to pop off, like they're gonna, like, you know, storm them and see what happens, and, like, you know, ambush them or whatever, and try to, like, trying to kill them all. And you completely forget. For me, that's when I was reading it. I forgot that the Kuroki were even, like, coming. Were even, like, a problem until you see that page where you see them trying to get Marcus alive, and the fact that they also, like, I don't know if you mentioned Rebecca, but, like, they also asked Kenji what to do about Quan, and they also said, no, kill Quan too. Fuck him. Like, we don't need him. And yeah, it's just it's crazy.
Also, I have one question though, because it's something I noticed. All the Kuroki seem to have, like, a bar across their face. Is that just a style of sunglasses, or?
We were talking about that last time,
and we couldn't I thought it was sunglasses at first, but when you take a look at it, because it's stagnant the entire time, it doesn't, like.
Yeah, they don't have the little bar for the glasses on the side either.
Right, that's what was confusing me. That's why I'm like,
it's just a stylistic choice, but I don't really understand it.
I mean, they do. I mean, I kind of get it. Like, it kind of is supposed to get like in like old like Japanese like gangster films, they kind of did that with some of the like the goon characters. So I think that's what he's going for. But like, I don't mind it. But yeah, this issue was great. I think the ending is what sells it. I love the ending. I think it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And also them getting super fucking high and just like everyone just like fucking and loving each other is like fucking great. I love that a lot.
I feel like a lot more of their problems would be solved if they weren't high every time they had to do something like this.
But
Right?
if you weren't going to an assassin school and also had trauma backed up on top of that before going to the assassin school, wouldn't you not do drugs? Wouldn't you do drugs too?
I would probably try not to once I was in the assassin school. I'm not gonna lie.
This is hypothetical, people. Don't actually do drugs. Don't do it. We don't condone it on the Unicorn.
It's true.
But yeah, I love the fact that just like these relationships starting to brew. I think it's really interesting. Well, not really starting to brew, but like we already know that we have an established relationship with Maria and Marcus, but now two new relationships have brewed with Helmet and Petra, and now Tashawi and Zinzele. I think it's fucking great, and I love it. Yeah, it's good stuff. And also I like how this kind of is a non-linear. Well, not it is linear, but like I do like the fact that the issue starts off with revealing about what actually happened. Revealing the reason on why everybody left for that trip, that little like Thanksgiving break road trip. The day after. I think that was a great way to start off because Remender does plant seeds to like give you an idea of like something is off, like something must have happened. There must be a reason for why they went on this trip. I like how he kind of planted seeds a little bit there last issue. So the fact that he actually sold it immediately when we start off the issue was great. Is Brandy? That's the real question though. Is Brandy telling the truth? I don't know. It's 50-50. She could be. She could be lying just for clout, or she could, and then also to tear Zinzele down, or she's telling the truth.
I feel like the way Zinzele reacted, it's probably the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely an accident though, or at least ashamed of it.
I would say that would be most likely the case. It's mostly by accident. Due to how like she seems to love her parents, like how the way she writes their letters.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't.
She still writes letters.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it would be, intentional unless she's a psychopath. And that's like the actual twist. But yeah, no, this issue was really dope, and I'm excited, especially because like, yay, we see the racist bitches stabbed. Let's go. She might be bleeding out and dying next volume. Woo! We ended racism. Let's go. It's just great.
She deserved that right there.
Yeah. But like that's the real question for y'all guys. There was another question I realized we asked the audience before, like in the middle of the show. But like, the real question is, do you think Marcus will miss? I think I might make that into a poll actually. Will Marcus miss?
Honestly, it's a question if Marcus even takes the shot.
It's true. But
I feel like Marcus is always kind of fucking up, so I don't think he's gonna get it this time.
That's true.
No way.
The thing is, like, because I don't know nothing about what happens after this volume, so like I'm as blind as y'all are. But like, it's just, knowing how Marcus was able to kill off the cartel almost by himself, I feel like he's not gonna fucking miss.
You'd think that.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Marcus has messed up easier.
But overall, I think it's great. I really like this issue a lot. And again, it's literally just the Vegas trip 2.0. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Lynn. Also, shout out to Lynn for being like, yeah, let's just grade these fools when they want. Let's just let these kids kill each other and we just grade them on their performance. Fucking hard. Gangster as hell for no reason. But yeah, I got nothing else to say. So yeah, we're gonna move on to final thoughts. So what are y'all final thoughts on Volume 6? This is not the end.
It's a good volume. It's not my favorite volume we've had so far. Like I said, I'm interested to see the further development of these like new characters. I'm really interested in like a lot of the women characters in this. Honestly, like I
Yeah.
think they're the most interesting
Right.
of the group. So yeah, I'm excited to see where the story goes.
Mhm.
Yeah, Demoan?
I'm feeling probably about the same way as Rebecca about this. I'm really I'm also really interested to see where in case you haven't been able to tell, where the Petra helmet relationship goes. I think that'll be a fun one, no matter how it ends, unless one of them dies.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, because the whole "I love you." Yeah, because the whole "I love you"
Mhm.
thing was a whole
Yeah.
kind of a crutch, because Helmet didn't seem that
Yeah,
confident in it because he clearly doesn't want that, but
Helmet never said
does.
it back. Helmet never said it back. Just straight up never.
Never.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, it's only been like 2 days. But
Oh no, I'm team Helmet's reasonable in this regard. I'm more worried about Petra because she seems unsafe.
Oh yeah, she's not
Um,
she's not in the right place at all. No.
no, not at all. But I'm very interested to see where that goes, just because I'm interested in Petra as a character. Gosh, they really juked me out when I thought Willie was back alive, and I'm kind of disappointed he's not. I won't lie to you.
It juked the shit out of me. I was like,
Mhm.
well, I already knew, obviously, because it's my second time reading it. But like the first time,
Right.
I was like, yo, like my boy's back, and then they took it away from me. Thanks, Remender, for
Mhm.
taking my boy away from me. I'm so happy about it.
All Mikey's hopes and dreams dashed.
Oh my god. But yeah, I kind of agree with both of you. Like, this issue is pretty good. This issue is good. It's not my favorite, but like it's because it's very dense. It's a very dense volume. But again, I think the women are the standout. Like the stuff. Finally seeing Sy's pass was my favorite. It's probably my favorite issue just because I now that like it like the what's it called? The fact that it am I blanking? Oh crap! The fact that I think the payoff was so strong. I loved it a lot because they tease Sy as mysterious for the entire show, the entire I think like 5 volumes at this point. So like the fact that we actually see her backstory is great, and I thought it was very interesting. Stuff in the relationship with her family, her brother, or her dad. Zinzele, I stuff with Zinzele I thought was pretty good. In terms of how she stands up to Brandy, and the quote unquote like reveal of her past between her parents, if it's true or not. I think it's very interesting. Also, how she's changed, like the experience actions Dominion is changing her as a person. I love that a lot. And also Tashawi, her name was Tashawi. Again, love a short king, tall queen relationship. I'm down for that. And then also Maria and Marcus and Petra and Helmut are pretty good stuff. I really like it a lot. Most of that ending. That's the thing. I know the moment we start volume 7, after the break is when it's just gonna pop off. I'm ready for it. Like it's gonna be so much fun. Let's see how they get the hell out. It's gonna be so fun. But yeah, I don't really got anything else to say. But yeah. But like Demoan said though, just a nod on the covers real quick. I think these are some of my favorite like variant covers that are in the hardcover and that are in the trade. But yeah, that Spawn cover is in here. Where the hell is it? Yeah, this is just to get a close up for people that I don't know if they can see it, but it's that little Spawn cover that they got right here. Really cool. With Maria as Spawn. I think it's dope shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I also want to acknowledge another one where it's of Helmet, the one of Helmet drawn by our boy from Do a Powerbomb, Daniel Warren Johnson. I love this variant. It's my favorite variant out of this whole volume. And
Heck yeah.
Meddling out. And again, if y'all know me, I love Daniel Warren Johnson. So
it also looks like there was a Pride cover for this.
I think so. I think that's what it is. Actually,
I mean, they put the Galen on the cover.
Oh wait, no, it says Pride.
Yeah,
it says Pride, doesn't it? Yep, there we go.
It literally says, I think it literally says stud in the back too. That's
yep,
awesome.
Stud.
That's awesome.
Look at that. A gaggle of gays.
Yeah.
I like how that they don't have that many gay characters, so they have to put like the one who like doesn't really matter that much.
I would say. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, people. I hope you're all looking forward to it. but yeah, everyone, that's pretty much it. I think it's like, so we're basically at the halfway point now, and yeah, it's gonna be a good time. So actually, you know what? I was gonna be like, yo, let's just go on break and just do whatever video we want to do, but I'll do this. I'll compromise. So in the next episode in the next 2 weeks, right? So that's when we'll do our bonus episode. Is next 2 weeks. So next 2 weeks, we are going to be covering our review, which is gonna be our bonus episode. Is going to be review of Deadly Class season 1, so the actual TV show. And Rebecca and I have slowly been watching it. Slowly. So
I want the audience to know he's announcing this just now. He has not given us notice that we're doing this in 2 weeks until just now.
Well, I was gonna do it whenever, but like I need to talk about this show. I gotta. And so yeah, I'm excited. I'm because me and Rebecca are like halfway through watching it together. Demoan, you've not seen it at all, which again, shame on you because like it's just.
I'm sorry. I'll get on that.
But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be us comparing and contrasting the comic from what we read from comic, because only the first 2 volumes and what the show's done in terms of the changes, similarities, and also a big rant on me to do the fact that we're never gonna see half of the good shit that we've gotten so far in Deadly Class in live action ever. It upsets me so much. So yeah, so we're gonna do that. And after that, we're gonna go on like a break for like a month, maybe 2, just to do some other books and other stuff like that, and other content. I don't know. But we're gonna go on a break. That is happening. But yeah, that's pretty much it, everybody. Thanks everyone for watching this or will watch this. We appreciate the support. Check out all of our other content that we've been dropping lately. Rebecca just did a big barber review with Maddie, so that's out right now. I dropped a solo reaction that I did for the Invincible season 2 trailer, so check that out as well. Check out Latest After Dark. We talked about Superman Legacy casting and the Deadpool 3 set photos and our thoughts on SAG-AFTRA and the NWA strike and a lot of other stuff. Yeah, check out all the various clips, check out the reactions, check out the weekly recommendations. Again, I have one weekly recommendation planned. I just been slacking on trying to get it out there, but it's happening. And yeah, man, we appreciate the support. Just comment, like, subscribe on click notification bell so you know when we drop new content. We are officially at 175 subscribers and counting. So that's great. It means that we're doing a good job, and the fact that you all are checking us out and giving us mad love, we appreciate support. Also want to nod real quick that obviously because Barbie is out, Oppenheimer's out. Our Barbie review, as of right now, because I literally just saw it change. I just saw it change in real time. Our Barbie reaction trailer and breakdown just hit 8K. So
They get to watching that review. You people are slacking on those views.
Exactly. If you're one of those people that came from the Barbie trailer reaction and have not watched the Barbie review, get on that. I will put a link in the comment section in that video and pin it so y'all can watch it.
If you've watched all 2 hours and 15 minutes of this but not our Barbie review, reevaluate.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, as always, thanks again. We appreciate it. Videos. Get home safe, and we'll see you next 2 weeks for the Deadly Class season 1 review. All right. Peace.
Get home safe.